Coins are much more than just money. They are tiny, durable storytellers, passed from hand to hand across generations. Each one is a small piece of history that we can hold. They tell us about the kings and queens who ruled the land. They show us the symbols that were important to the people of the past. By looking at a coin, we can learn about the economy, the art, and the beliefs of a society long gone. These small metal discs are windows into another time, revealing the flow of trade, the rise and fall of empires, and the daily lives of ordinary folk. They are a physical connection to our ancestors. The study of coins, known as numismatics, is like a special kind of archaeology. Instead of digging up ancient cities, we are uncovering stories from these metallic artifacts. The metals used to make them, such as gold, silver, or copper, tell us about a kingdom's wealth. The images stamped upon them reveal what people valued, from powerful rulers and sacred animals to symbols of prosperity and religious faith. Even the languages and scripts found on coins help us trace the connections between different cultures. For a country like Sri Lanka, with its long and rich history, its coins offer a truly remarkable journey through time. Imagine a single coin. It might have been minted in a royal workshop, then used by a merchant to buy spices. Perhaps a soldier received it as payment, and later, a farmer used it to buy seeds for his field. Each transaction adds to its silent story. The coin witnesses the everyday moments and the grand events of its time. It sees peace and it sees conflict. It travels across oceans in the holds of trading ships. Over centuries it might become worn and smooth, its original sharp details softened by the touch of countless hands, each one part of the island's unfolding human drama. And so, as we begin our exploration of Sri Lanka's coinage, we are embarking on a special kind of adventure. We will travel back thousands of years to see the very first pieces of currency used on the island. We will witness powerful kingdoms rise and mint their own magnificent gold coins. We will see how waves of foreign traders and colonizers left their mark, not just on the land, but on the very money people used. Finally, we will arrive in the modern era to see how the coins of today continue to reflect the identity and spirit of a proud and independent nation. It is a story of survival, change, and enduring culture. Our journey begins over 2,000 years ago in ancient Sri Lanka. Long before perfectly round coins were common, people used something called punch-marked coins. These were not minted in the way we think of today. Instead, they were small, often irregularly shaped pieces of silver. Merchants or local authorities would stamp them with various symbols using a punch and a hammer. These coins were known as Kahapanas. They were part of a wider currency system that spread across the Indian subcontinent, showing us that Sri Lanka was already a busy hub for trade and commerce, connected to its neighbors. The symbols on these early Kahapanas are fascinating. You might find images of the sun, a bull, an elephant, or a tree within a railing. Each mark was like a signature, a sign of authentication from the person or guild that issued it. There wasn't one single design, but rather a collection of marks stamped over time. A single coin could have 5 or more different symbols on its surface. This method ensured that the coin's weight and the purity of its silver were guaranteed. Finding these coins in ancient archaeological sites helps historians map out the trade routes and economic networks of the past. These Kahapanas were made primarily of silver. The metal was first melted and then flattened into thin sheets. These sheets were then cut into smaller, roughly rectangular or square pieces. The weight of each piece was very important, as it determined its value. After being cut to the correct weight, each piece was stamped with the unique symbols. This process was done by hand, which is why no two punch-marked coins are exactly alike. Their rustic and varied appearance is part of their ancient charm, a direct link to the hands that made and used them so long ago. The presence of these coins across Sri Lanka, from ancient port cities to inland settlements, tells a clear story. It shows that a sophisticated system of exchange was already in place by the 3rd century BCE. People were not just bartering goods. They were using a standardized currency to conduct business. This made trade more efficient and allowed for the growth of a more complex economy. These humble silver pieces represent a major step in the island's economic development, laying the foundation for the monetary systems that would follow in the centuries to come. As time moved on, a new and very distinctive type of coin appeared in Sri Lanka. These were the Lakshmi plaques. Unlike the earlier Kahapanas, these were rectangular pieces of metal, usually made of copper or lead. On one side, they featured a beautiful and clear image of the goddess Lakshmi. She is the Hindu goddess of wealth, fortune, and prosperity. This choice of imagery is very telling. It shows that people associated their money directly with the idea of good fortune and divine blessing. These were not just tools for trade, they were also powerful symbols of hope and abundance. The depiction of Lakshmi on these plaques is quite specific. She is often shown standing on a lotus flower, a symbol of purity and beauty. In her hands, she holds more lotus flowers, and sometimes elephants are shown on either side of her, lustrating her with water from their trunks. This particular scene is known as Gaja Lakshmi, or Lakshmi with elephants. It is a powerful and auspicious image that has been used in South Asian art for thousands of years. Its presence on these early coins shows the deep cultural and religious connections that shaped the lives of the island's inhabitants. These plaques were cast in molds, which was a different technique from the punch marking used for kahapanas. This allowed for a more consistent and detailed design. The reverse side of the plaque was often left blank, but some types feature a swastika symbol enclosed within a railing. The swastika was another ancient and auspicious symbol, representing well-being and good luck. The combination of Lakshmi and the swastika made these plaques powerful talismans, objects that people may have carried not only for their monetary value, but also for the good fortune they were believed to bring. The Lakshmi plaques were used for several centuries, from around the 2nd century BC to the 2nd century CE. They are found mainly in the southern and northern parts of Sri Lanka, suggesting they were a local currency, perhaps used for everyday transactions in bustling markets. Their existence highlights a period of great cultural fusion, where Hindu and Buddhist beliefs coexisted and influenced. These small copper relics are not just old money, they are artifacts that speak to the society's spiritual values and its prayers for prosperity. We now move forward in time to the medieval period, a golden age for Sri Lanka's native kingdoms. The kings of the Polonnaruwa and Dambadeniya dynasties minted some of the most iconic coins in the island's history. The most famous of these is the Kahapana. These coins were typically made of gold or a gold and silver alloy and had a very distinctive design. This period, from the 10th to the 13th centuries, saw a flourishing of art, architecture, and culture. And the coins of this era reflect that confidence and prosperity. They were a symbol of the kingdom's power and stability. The design of the Kahapana is unique and stylized. On one side, there is a standing figure thought to be the king himself, holding a flower or a lamp. The figure is depicted in a very abstract way, made up of lines and dots. On the other side, there is a seated figure, also highly stylized, holding a conch shell. Around the seated figure, you can often find the king's name written in Nagari script, a writing system that came from India. This design was so successful and recognizable that it was copied for hundreds of years, even by later rulers. The coin's imagery is rich with meaning. The standing figure represents the king as the ruler and protector of the land. The seated figure, holding the conch, is thought to represent Kuvera, the god of wealth, reinforcing the coin's role in the kingdom's prosperity. The use of gold, the most precious of metals, was a clear statement of the king's wealth and authority. These were not just for small, everyday purchases. They were high-value coins used for major transactions, land purchases, and international trade, carrying the king's authority far and wide. Different rulers from this period, such as Vijayabahu I, Parakramabahu the Great, and Nisanka Malla, all issued their own versions of the Kahapana. While the basic design remained the same, there were small variations in the king's name or the quality of the metal. Historians can study these subtle differences to identify which king minted a particular coin. These beautiful gold pieces are a testament to a powerful and self-assured civilization. They are not just currency, they are miniature works of art that capture the spirit of medieval Sri Lanka. The arrival of the Portuguese in the early 16th century marked a dramatic turning point in Sri Lankan history. As they established their control over the island's coastal areas, they also brought their own monetary system. For the first time, European-style coins began to circulate widely in Sri Lanka. The Portuguese were primarily interested in the lucrative spice trade, and their coins were essential tools for managing this commerce. Their currency reflected their power and their Christian faith, introducing entirely new designs and symbols to the island's people. It was a clear sign that a new power had arrived. The Portuguese introduced silver coins known as tanga. These coins often featured the Portuguese coat of arms on one side, a clear symbol of royal authority. On the other side, you might find a cross, representing the strong Catholic faith of the Portuguese Empire. Sometimes, the initials ST were stamped on the coins, which stood for São Tomé, another Portuguese colony where some of these coins were minted before being shipped to Asia. The designs were very different from the stylized figures of the Sinhala kings, showing a more realistic European style of art. Alongside their own coins, the Portuguese also adapted local currency. They took existing coins, like the local larin, which were shaped like fishhooks, and stamped them with their own symbols. This was a practical way to make the local money acceptable within their own trading system. It also served as a visible reminder of their dominance. Seeing a familiar local coin marked with a foreign symbol would have been a powerful message to the people of the time. It showed that the old ways were now under the control of a new authority. This period was one of currency confusion. Portuguese, Persian, and Indian coins all circulated alongside the remaining local currencies in different parts of the island. The Portuguese did not establish a single, unified currency system. Instead, their coinage was part of a complex and sometimes chaotic mix of different monies. This reflects the nature of their rule, which was focused on controlling trade hubs rather than governing the entire island. The coins from this era tell a story of encounter, conflict, and the beginning of a long period of European influence in Sri Lanka. In the mid-17th century, the Dutch replaced the Portuguese as the dominant European power in Sri Lanka's coastal regions. The Dutch East India Company, known as the VOC, or Verenigde Oost-Indische Compagnie, was a massive trading enterprise. It needed a reliable and standardized currency to manage its vast commercial network. So the VOC introduced its own distinctive coins, which soon became the main currency in the territories it controlled. These coins were symbols not of a king or a nation, but of a powerful corporation, one of the first of its kind in the world. The most prominent feature on Dutch coins of this period was the VOC monogram. This simple yet powerful logo, consisting of the letters V, O, and C intertwined, was stamped on every coin the company issued. Above the monogram, there was often a letter indicating the mint where the coin was made, such as U for Utrecht or H for Holland. On the other side, the coin would typically show the coat of arms of the Dutch province that minted it. These coins were mostly made of copper and were known as stuivers or duits. They were sturdy and practical, designed for heavy use in daily trade. The Dutch were highly organized in their currency management. They established a mint in Colombo to produce copper coins locally. This was a significant step, as it allowed them to create a currency specifically for their Sri Lankan territories. They also fixed the exchange rates between their copper stavers and the silver and gold coins that were used for larger international transactions. This brought a new level of order and stability to the island's economy, at least in the areas under their control. The VOC's goal was efficiency and profit, and their currency system was designed to serve that purpose. The Dutch coins circulated for over 150 years and had a lasting impact. They were so common and reliable that they continued to be used even after the British took over from the Dutch. The word for money in both Sinhala, sali, and Tamil, sali, is believed to have originated from the Dutch shelling coin. This shows how deeply the Dutch monetary system became embedded in the local culture and language. The VOC coins are a powerful reminder of an era when global trade was reshaping the world, and Sri Lanka was right at the heart of it. When the British took control of the entire island of Sri Lanka in the early 19th century, another major shift in coinage occurred. The British Empire sought to standardize currency across its vast territories. They gradually phased out the Dutch Voci coins and the various other currencies that were still in circulation. In their place, they introduced the silver Riksdollar and later the Indian rupee. For a time, British pounds, shillings, and pence were also used. This was a period of transition as the British worked to integrate Sri Lanka, which they called Ceylon, into their global economic system. A decisive change came in 1869 when decimal currency was introduced. The new official currency became the Ceylonese rupee, which was divided into 100 cents. This was a modern, efficient system that made accounting and commerce much simpler. The first coins for this new system were minted in 1870. They were made of copper and came in denominations of a quarter cent, half cent, 1 cent, and 5 cents. These coins clearly stated Ceylon on them and featured the portrait of the reigning British monarch, Queen Victoria. Her image on the money was a powerful symbol of imperial authority. The designs of British colonial coins were uniform and elegant. One side always featured the profile of the British king or queen, such as Queen Victoria, King Edward VII, King George V, or King George VI. The other side showed the value of the coin, the word Ceylon, and the year it was minted. A common design element on the reverse was a palm tree, a plant strongly associated with Sri Lanka. This small local touch was a nod to the island's identity, even as the monarch's portrait affirmed its status as a part of the British Empire. Over the years, the materials used for the coins changed. The early large copper coins were eventually replaced by smaller bronze ones. Silver coins were used for higher denominations, like the 10, 25, and 50-cent pieces. During World War II, when metals like nickel and copper became scarce, some coins were even minted in a nickel-brass alloy, giving them a distinct golden color. These changes in metal content tell a story of global events and their impact on the everyday lives of people in Sri Lanka. The British-era coins represent a period of profound transformation, modernization, and colonial rule. In 1948, Sri Lanka gained its independence, and a new era began for the nation and its currency. Although the country was initially a dominion within the British Commonwealth, it soon began to assert its own unique identity through its money. The first coins of independent Sri Lanka still bore the portrait of the British monarch, King George VI, but a significant change was made. The name on the coins was now written in Sinhala, Tamil, and English, representing the main languages of the nation. This was a small but important step towards creating a currency that reflected the country's diverse population. The truly big change came in 1963. For the first time, the coins of Sri Lanka featured the national emblem of the country instead of the British monarch's portrait. This was a powerful declaration of sovereignty. The new coins, in denominations of 1, 2, 5, 10, 25, and 50 cents, and 1 rupee, showcased the armorial ensign of Ceylon. The reverse side of the coins featured the value written in large numerals, with the country's name in Sinhala at the top. This new series of coins was a proud symbol of a nation charting its own course. Sri Lanka also began to issue commemorative coins to mark important events and celebrate its culture. The first such coin was issued in 1957 to celebrate 2,500 years of Buddhism. This set a precedent for many future issues. Over the years, commemorative coins have been minted to mark national anniversaries, religious events, and to honor important historical figures. These special coins are not just for circulation, they are miniature monuments, preserving key moments of the nation's history and cultural heritage for future generations to appreciate and learn from. As the years went by, the coins continued to evolve. In 1972, when the country became a republic, its name officially changed to Sri Lanka, and this was reflected on the coins. The designs also began to incorporate more elements of local life and nature. Due to inflation and the rising cost of metals, the smaller denomination coins like the 1, 2, and 5 cents were eventually withdrawn from circulation. New denominations, like the 2, 5, and 10 rupee coins, were introduced to meet the needs of the modern economy. Today's coins are a vibrant mix of history, culture, and practicality, a true reflection of modern Sri Lanka. As we have seen, the story of Sri Lanka's coins is the story of Sri Lanka itself. From the ancient punch-marked Kahapanas of early traders to the modern rupee coins we use today, each piece of metal tells a chapter of the island's magnificent history. They are not silent objects. They speak of powerful kingdoms, of vibrant trade with distant lands, and of the deep spiritual beliefs that have shaped the nation's culture for millennia. The stylized figures on a gold kahavanu echo the glory of the Polonnaruwa kings, while the VOC monogram on a copper duet reminds us of an era dominated by global commerce. The coins reveal a history of encounters and transformations. The arrival of Portuguese crosses, Dutch company logos, and British royal portraits on the island's currency marked successive waves of European influence. Each new set of coins represented a shift in power, introducing new economic systems, languages, and artistic styles. Yet, through all these changes, local symbols and traditions endured. The palm tree on a British-era coin and the use of all three national languages on modern currency show a persistent and resilient local identity, adapting and reasserting itself through time. These small metal discs are also a record of daily life. They are what people used to buy food at the market, to pay for passage on a boat, or to give as an offering at a temple. The metals they are made from, gold for kings, silver for merchants, and copper for the common folk, reflect the social and economic structures of their time. The gradual disappearance of low-value cent coins in our own era tells its own story about economic change and inflation. They are a tangible link to the everyday experiences of countless generations of Sri Lankans. In the end, Sri Lanka's coins are more than just currency. They are a national treasure, a gallery of miniature art, and a library of historical documents all rolled into one. They chart a course through periods of independence, colonization, and renewed freedom. They show how art, religion, and politics are all intertwined with the economy. By studying these humble yet extraordinary objects, we gain a deeper understanding of the island's rich past and the living legacy that continues to shape its present. They are a testament to the enduring story of a remarkable